Okay, got an old favourite here, the little XK A600 Beaver. This is the miniature the miniature XK Beaver. As you can see, it's pretty beat up. It's had some pretty bad crashes here and there. I think I flew it right into, that was the other field, right? Flew it right into a metal fence post once. It's been beaten up and repaired a lot, this one. Flying off his own little toy grade type transmitter. Don't remember what protocol it is, but it's definitely not DSMX. I think it might be Futaba actually, if you have a Futaba transmitter. But anyway, I'm just flying. My standard transmitter is a DX9, and this will not fly with a DX9. So I've got it flying with its own little transmitter. Might be about time to put new AA batteries in that, but I think it's okay for now. I'm going to try and take it off the table, because it's certainly not going to take off the ground. Hopefully we've got enough power. Yeah, just about. Not oodles and oodles of power, but it's a 2-cell. And it will fly in a certain amount of wind, though there isn't any now. But I have flown it. Of course, that may be damaged so much because I have flown it in some moderately windy conditions. Maidened it in the middle of the winter, if I remember rightly, and God knows, -15 temperature with snow on the ground. That was a while ago. Anyway, now this is, I think, stabilized, if I remember rightly. You press, odd sort of control, you press in on the right stick to change modes, if I remember. There are 2 buttons at the top, but I don't know what they do, if anything. They make beeps, but I don't think they really do anything. That changed the mode, I believe. Yes, ooh. You can't complain about the power. When you punch, I'm only flying him on a half throttle. When you punch that throttle up, he's really got quite a bit of power. Well, I guess that would be necessary to fly in wind, because I know I've flown him in some, well, momentary brain problem there with orientation. That's where I caught most of my problems are caused in RC is, I sort of lose track of which way the plane's pointing. I see the wing and I don't quite know which way it's pointing, and it's very important to know which way the plane's pointing, because that was quite a nice Immelman turn there, eh? Not a bad Immelman turn at all, not perfect. You wouldn't get full marks for it for sure. Well, I'd never get full marks for anything. But maybe when I was in high school, I used to occasionally get full marks for math. Because if you get all the answers right, you can get 100% in math. It's one of the few things you can actually get full marks in. I mean, you can never really write a perfect historical essay or whatever, but on a simple math test, you can get perfect results. But that was like 50 years ago or whatever. Since that, I don't think I've ever got perfect marks on anything, but certainly wouldn't get perfect marks for my flying. I'm not that precise a flyer. And a perfect Immelman turn, yes, you're supposed to do a perfect half loop and then roll and then come out pointing exactly the opposite direction to you were. I just approximate to things. I'm not. Try one more time. Ooh, that was terrible. That was awful. That was way worse than the first time. That was terrible. We're too low now. I don't want to start that low. Always start 2 mistakes high, they say. Famous last words. Pay attention to what you're doing. Might be running out of power a little bit now. Seems to have less power than he had. This is one of those Fly Venom 300 milliamp hour batteries. Now I changed the connector on this. He came with, like, I think it's called a Molex connector, but those batteries are harder to get. So and the battery, he didn't even come with a battery. He was supposed to, but I think the Swiss Customs or somebody stole it. Yeah, better, but not perfect by any means. Yeah, the Swiss customs opened this and stole the battery out of it when I ordered it. I got it from Banggood years ago. So I didn't even get a battery with it. It's supposed to fly, I think, with a 300 milliamp hour 2-cell with a Molex connector. I cut the connector off and put a connector for a UMX battery in, like you use in the little E-Flight UMX battery planes, because I've got several of those. But I had several of those batteries then, and I've still got several of those batteries. Didn't have this one then. This is newer. This is a Fly Venom. I should land it because it seems to be losing power a little bit, and I don't. These Fly Venom batteries, I don't know, seem to be aging faster than some. If some batteries age faster than others, they seem to be, you know, they work still, but they don't supply as much power as they used to. Can't really in any meaningful way land this on the grass, not whatever you do, because they can't run on the grass. As soon as the wheels hit the grass, however neatly you hit the grass, it's going to flip over. That's just the way it is. Seems to have quite a downward angle on the motor, doesn't it? The motor seems to be, the line of thrust seems to be quite a bit down from the line of the plane, but it flies okay. I wouldn't complain, considering, especially since it's been really smashed to pieces. As you can see, the whole nose has been smashed off and things. That's just what the AS3X type sort of whatever wind stabilization chattering. It has that. It has wind stabilization. I think all the time. I don't think you can turn that off. It has like switchable 6-axis stabilization. It actually had little pants on the landing gear as well when it came, but they got broken. They fell off long ago. So I didn't take them off on purpose. They just didn't stand up to repeated hitting the grass and whatever. Ended up coming off. Battery goes in underneath here, a little hatch, which you have to make sure you catch, else it'll come undone. And as I say, you see, I've cut the original connector off and put a UMX connector on, and so I can use UMX batteries. And this is a Fly Venom 300. Not having a timer, I don't know how long I flew for there, so this does have a balance plug line. Unlike the UMX ones, if you buy the actual E-Flight UMX ones, they only have the UMX connector. They don't put a balance plug on them. But these Fly ones have a balance plug, and they have a JST as well. 7.77, 3.88, 3.89. Not bad. No complaints with that. Nicely balanced, and you know, for the amount of flying I did and what I did, I think, you know, that's a perfectly reasonable amount of power left. I could have flown it for another minute or two probably if I you know, needed to, but it was just as well to bring it in. Anyway, there you go. You can I still see these around for sale, and they're a nice little plane. Yeah, I mean, they could even work as a first plane for someone, I guess, since it's got stabilized mode and it's fairly easy to fly in the stabilized mode. Yeah, probably wouldn't recommend it as the first plane for someone, in a sense, really. Something a little bit more all-round docile. But it's a nice little plane, and it's fine to fly. Quite pretty. It was prettier before I beat it up so much. Anyway, there you go. XK A600, which I guess refers to the wingspan. I think it's 600 millimeters. De Havilland Beaver model. No floats with this one. It's strictly a ground performer. Oh, I see. I do actually still have the remnants of one of the wheel pants on that side. I thought they'd both gone.